Hey, what's up guys? This is PokerXpress, and we are back with another episode of Poker Hands. Before getting into it, I would like to ask you guys to hit the like button and subscribe if you enjoy our videos, as your support is allowing us to continue posting videos on a daily basis.
Moving on now, action still at 25 and 50 with a 5K ante. This time, it's the fabulous Lori Bear. She's got 9-jack offsuit. Into the muck they go. Along with Will. Over to Michael now. He's frustratingly folding. Mel, probably booking bets on his phone as we speak.
Now to Joe on the button. Gets a little nudge from Kevin. Folds.
I pull it in under the thing, and then I do it.
And I saw an 8. It's an 8-3, and he's going to raise it to 115,000. Action now on Kirby Nunn.
It was, really? Yeah, it was.
Kirby in the big blind looks down at Queen 7 of diamonds.
You go out here. Let's do it in here where you can't.
In a blind versus blind situation, I would definitely call with that hand. A call.
And she is going to oblige. She does call.
She has Kevin dominated on the diamonds.
Heads up to the flop, blind versus blind.
And the flop is ace-10 for 2 diamonds. Both players have a flush draw. Kirby has the higher flush draw. I imagine Kevin is going to continuation bet here.
165.
You're right about that again, Maria. He makes it 165,000. Question now, does Kirby just flat call this, or does she raise here on a semi-bluff? I'd love it if she raised.
I think it's an easy spot for Kirby to raise, actually. Like I said, it's blind versus blind. Kevin doesn't necessarily need an ace to raise from the small blind pre-flop, and I think Kirby can just shut this hand down and take down the pot if she raises.
To the turn we go. It brings the 9 of diamonds, so here we are, both players with a flush. Kirby's got the big flush. Kevin is going to check with a flush, so you know what his plans are. Here comes Kirby.
275,000.
Kirby bets 275,000. Kevin, thinking he's being slick here, checking it over to her and now taking his time to call. Really has no idea he's actually drawing dead because Kirby has the bigger flush.
And he is going to raise it, makes it 575,000 to go.
575,000.
And if I were Kirby, I would just call for 2 reasons. One, she doesn't have the nut flush, and so she doesn't want to re-raise here. But also because if Kevin was check raising on a bluff, she also doesn't want to scare him off.
But Kirby is going to go all in now.
Can you pull in the
And now Kevin actually has a decision. You can tell that he doesn't think Kirby would do this without a flush, and Kevin only has an 8 high flush.
So you're thinking Kevin's going to get away from this hand here?
I think there's a chance he could, but I mean, it is hard to fold a flush. She just looks so comfortable, and I think Kevin has played long enough and is an experienced enough of a player to get away from this hand, actually.
And he is going to make the call, and he's going to see the bad news that he is drawing dead going to the river.
Flipped over, Kevin shows.
And the way he turns his card over, he just hates it, and you know, it's just an unfortunate situation, and Kevin didn't seem to be able to get away from it this time.
For a higher flush.
The river is insignificant. Let's just throw it out there since we have to, and we'll award over $3.7 million in chips to Kirby's stack.
Place right now is going to take home just under 58,000.
Curtis is under the gun this hand. He is going to fold. And Quentin is going to raise it up from the small blind with ace-4. And it is Stu with ace-9. And he is going to make the easy call. The flop is ace-8, ace. Both players have trip aces.
And they both decide to play it a bit cagey, thinking that it's a little unlikely for their opponent to have the case ace in their hand.
7 of diamonds falls on the turn, giving both players now a redraw to a flush. Stewart has the better diamond with a 9.
So Quentin decides now's the time to bet 200,000, and Stu obviously makes the call. There's not a ton of river cards that he fears.
The queen of diamonds falls on the river, so Stewart has the best hand with a flush, and that just might be an action killer. That diamond on the river might have saved Quentin.
But Stewart decides to bet a bit on the small side, just getting a little bit of value here, and Quentin calls.
Ace, 9.
And they both have flushes, but Stewart does have the bigger flush. And he kind of sees that maybe if he fast played, he could have gotten more chips.
If you enjoy our videos and would like to see more, make sure to check out the links in the description. Also, make sure to comment below what you would like to see next, and we will work on your ideas as soon as possible.
I love this play by Chuck. Open limping with the 6-5 suited, four-handed. You know, the antes have kicked in. I really feel like if you're going to play a hand like 6-5 here, you're much better off raising and establishing yourself as the pre-flop aggressor, setting yourself up for that post-flop c-bet. So here he just limps, and he kind of induces Barbara to go ahead and raise and isolate. But Barbara's raises here pre-flop just aren't enough to convince anybody to fold.
Flop is king, 9 deuce, couple of hearts. Action will start with Barbie. She checks over to James, who has 4 hearts now to the flush.
And I love James here. You know, he's been very aggressive with his draws. This could get a little bit dangerous for Chuck, who also has a flush draw.
Yeah, speaking of hearts, Chuck down there with the 6-5. Barbie gets out of the way. It looks like James is the most experienced player at this final table.
Well, he's definitely the most aggressive. And I would submit to you that it doesn't matter if they hit the flush or not. James is going to take down this pot with or without it.
I like the way he's playing. He's going to bet 3,200 chips, and Chuck is going to make the call.
So if a heart comes here on the river, it's going to be really bad news for Chuck.
And right there, Dutch.
Yeah, there it is.
Just for the TV audience here, the queen of hearts, James reaching for chips. He's going to put out 5,500, and Chuck's not going to be able to get away from this.
Yeah, and James actually, I think, probably could have gotten his whole stack. I mean, he fired out a value bet that he could be pretty sure was going to get called with about a third pot there.
We go north, we go south, we go west, we go east. Check us out at hptpoker.com. Robert will buy you a beer when he sees you.
At least one.
Yeah, at least one. You're good for that.
I'm that kind of guy.
Absolutely. Have a lot of fun on the road, and we hope to see you. Jose's going to raise now to 160,000 with ace-9 suited in hearts. Alex on the button, going to make the call with 6-5 of hearts.
A speculative call for sure, but look, they're sitting deep enough. I don't mind that. I kind of like it, actually.
Now over to the big blind of Joe, and he's going to make the call with 8-7.
Yeah, I think Joe in that spot's going to call with a vast hand range.
Boy, Alex has accumulated so many chips here early on at this final table. And the flop, 2 10s and a tray, couple of hearts.
Well, that's the only problem with playing hands like 5-6 of hearts. Jose's actually got him dominated right now with a higher heart draw and the best hand.
Joe checks over to Jose. Jose reaching for chips. And he's going to make a bet of 250,000.
Alex might make a play at this and try to represent the 10. And Alex reaches for just enough chips to call instead.
Alex is 29 years old, over 100,000 in lifetime earnings. Joe gets out of the way, and now we go to the turn card, and it's the queen of diamonds helping neither player. Doesn't mean you can't bet, though, my friend.
That's right. A lot of times just having position here. Alex got position on Jose. Jose's in a tough spot.
5 players remain at this nationally televised final table. All the players guaranteed $49,221. That's the next payout. So not a bad day on the felt.
No, not a bad day at the office for sure.
Jose bets 550,000.
Yeah, Alex got a tough decision here.
Boy, Alex doesn't know it, but he does not want to see a heart here on the river, let me tell you.
It'll be a heartbreak.
And the river card is the king of hearts.
Be careful what you ask for, Alex.
Now the question is, how much does Jose bet here? A pot of just over 2 million chips, Robert.
About half the pot. I like to bet about $1 million here. Kind of a confusing bet, but yet big enough to get paid off, and he does get paid off.
Heart to heart, flush over flush. I guess one of the players was happy.
Once you get knocked down. Let's see if Chris can do that. He's on the button.
Explain that for the folks who don't know. On the button, you're still first to act when it's heads up.
Yeah, it changes. It changes when you're heads up. You become the button. You act first, and then you act last on all the other betting rounds. Now look what's happened here.
Kane's going to raise it up with his ace-king, and Chris is going to make the call.
It's an all-club hand as we go to the flop, and two clubs on the
flop. Look at that. King,
Amazing.
queen, 6, 2 clubs. Cue the fireworks, my friend.
Look at this. Now, Chris, as a result of that last hand, you can see not only does winning beget winning, but losing begets losing. He's on a downward trend.
Kane bets 400,000. Chris is going to make the call.
Thank goodness he just calls here and doesn't raise on some semi-bluff, which would be hopeless in this spot.
And the turn card is the ace of hearts.
It just gets better and better for Kane.
2 pair for Kane.
Looking for more sugar.
He's going to check. Chris drawing absolutely dead here.
Absolutely, but in his mind, he's drawing to a flush. Little does he know, he's got absolutely no hope.
The last thing he needs to hit right here is a club on the end.
There's nothing worse than being out there with no hope, I really sympathize with him.
1.4 million.
And now a raise to 1.4 million. And look, Chris isn't going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. He's not even thinking about it.
No, because he's got too many outs now. He sees the pot. He sees how many outs he has. He's calling in his mind for value, not knowing he's drawing dead. My friends at home, never leave yourself drawing dead.
Very good advice, Kenna James. 1 card to go.
Maybe a little late for Chris.
Boy, for Chris's sake, I hope he doesn't hit a club. And there it is, the 4 of clubs. Look at Kane.
2.4.
All in.
And look at Chris. He might as well be waving his chips goodbye.
And Kane makes the call, and that's going to do it, ladies and gentlemen. We have a brand new HPT champion. They both smile a little bit, but you know who's smiling all the way to the bank? It's Kane, who's going home with $150,593. The gold bracelet.